Video games like the Destiny saga, Conan Exiles, and the Tomb Raider franchise will forever define my taste in video games. With the Destiny saga and its sci-fi universe, it used to amaze me of how much in depth the game was, as the storyline would even continue after the campaign finished via Grimoire cards, which I used to spend several hours reading. Furthermore, I was always astounded by the beauty of this game, as the concept art gave an insight into this dystopian world where all of what's left of humanity is crammed into a city surrounded by walls, which are protected by guardians who were blessed by a machine god, the Traveler, with the powers of light. The conceptual art of this game brought alive my fantasy of what would have been of humanity if we mixed aliens, superpowers, and the end of the world, and on top of that, adding on the cool aspects of an RPG and a first-person shooter. Next, Conan Exiles, a game in where you're stuck in an area surrounded by energy fields which will kill you if you cross them without having removed the cursed bracelet. In this sandbox, one of the main things I loved is the fact that you can build a shelter, which via progression you could upgrade from anything into a hut to a castle. The map in Conan Exiles is really big and diverse. Each biome will have its own characteristic hazards and resources which can't be found anywhere else in the map. Furthermore, the implementation of religions in the game will offer players a different dynamic in where the final aim of the religion is to gather special resources to summon your god and have an advantage when raiding other clans. Lastly, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider holds a special place in my heart as it's one of the first games I ever played on a console. I always found the puzzles in the game quite challenging, which is something that I really enjoy. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is based on South American cultures such as the Aztecs and Mayans. The game features a semi-open world where you can fast travel to other areas in order to unlock tombs or rewards which weren't available before. It's a game that incentivizes and rewards exploration at its finest. My main source for this project has been the podcast of Follow Civilizations, in which they went over historical facts in order to narrate what happened in Tenochtitlan when the Spanish colonization, now known as Mexico. The aim of this project is to present and develop a series of conceptual pieces based on the historical events and elements of previous mentioned video games. Conceptual art is traditionally done via drawing tablets. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I had way limited resources, so I had to stick to traditional media. In this clip, you can see a drawing of a quetzal I did in order to show you my method. I would first do a sketch and color it in with color pencils. Then I would scan the drawing and pass it on to Photoshop, where I would do color corrections and background editing. Here, I did a sketch of the different conquistadors you would be able to choose, each with unique abilities and perks, and this would be the weapons available to the player, with some videos showing the editing method. Now, I will show what a mission would look like in the game. You spawn on a boat, where you start doing some tasks. You see the coast in the distance, and you order disembarkment. Once disembarked, you explore your surroundings. You build a small camp to set a respawn point, when suddenly, a woman emerges from a nearby stream, the goddess of running water. She warns you about the dangers, but you ignore her. You make your way through the jungle, until you have your second encounter, a panther. You carry on making your way through the dense jungle. Behind a bunch of dense vegetation, you spot this temple. You go in. And that's what brings us to the God of Death's temple, a boss encounter. The temple is guarded by stone statues, which are actually based on what the Aztecs envisioned Mictlantecutli, God of Death. These rivals are extremely agile. Their technique is essentially climbing into trees and blending with the vegetation, until they spot a prey and kill it from above. Once inside the temple, players will face the boss after endless traps and some puzzles. In this clip, I recorded myself doing a time-lapse of me drawing this boss. I based his clothing on what Aztecs used to wear at the time. Furthermore, I also designed his weapons and I did some further sketches. Lastly, I did some sketches of different temple models, as well as a depiction of the city of Tenochtitlan, with the temple mayor in the center. I really enjoyed this project because it gave me a chance to reconnect back with my drawings, because I used to really love drawing. It's helped me understand programs like Photoshop and Premiere, which I definitely feel more confident now that I've been able to experiment with them. But what I value most of this experience is the fact that I didn't have any creative restrictions when it comes to my work, and having all of this freedom and me being able to just do whatever I wanted. It's something that I really value. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and on to the next task.